Yo, hey, how's it going? Mark Draper here. So 2021 is here now, and 2020 has been pretty crazy. And are we going to see similar movements in the stock market as 2020? Are we going to see bigger moves in tech? Is FANG stocks the place to be? Are we going to see more moves in EV stocks, in Tesla? So I think that we have a lot of potential in all of these stocks, but where are some of the areas that I see money going into? Because the question now is, tech stocks, the big tech FANG stocks, we expect money to continue to go to these stocks. And for the stock market to stay in a good trajectory, these stocks need to continue to perform relatively well because they hold a significant portion of the indexes. So the question is, though, where do I see the trends going from now? And where are the areas that I'm going to be investing in? I see crypto as a space that is a really hot space in 2021. And I plan to invest more in crypto. And crypto already, my portfolio over the past couple of days, and this is the weekend, is up over 1% or 2. And it's literally over the weekend. And so my 2021 has been going pretty well so far, and my goal for 2021, just like it was for 2020, is just to beat the S&P 500 or beat the market. And because you can beat the market a single year, you can beat the market 2 years in a row, but can you beat the market for 10 consistent years? And you don't have to beat the market every year. Just like beating the market 1 year or beating the market 2 years, it doesn't mean that you're a genius all of a sudden. It could be luck, right? So just because you don't beat the market 1 year, it could be just an unlucky year. So you have to be aware of this. Use that data, though, to your advantage. Basically, if you see that you're doing well across the several years, then you're doing good and you're going to have massive gains and you have outsized gains and you're going to be above average. Your wealth's just going to be incredible. Now, the other flip side is this: if you've been struggling in the stock market for a year or even 2 years, and you also have to give yourself some time to learn, you're not going to be a champ all of a sudden. So if you're struggling for a couple years, but after you struggle for a couple years, you really have to start to question yourself if just going into an index fund might be the thing for you. Because if you start to go more than a couple years, and this is just using my own experience as someone who struggled for a year or two until I start making massive gains, you also have to just realize that it might not be worth it to struggle for too long, though, because if you continue to struggle, you have to understand that the best thing about the stock market is time in the market. It's not necessarily timing the market, but time in the market is the most powerful thing, and you have to let the miracle of compound growth just be on the back and help propel your investments and your wealth into the future. So you need to know that time in the market is the best thing, and having that compound growth, which is the vehicle that's going to help you become wealthy in the future. And so be aware of that and know that you have to just be honest with ourselves, with our trades. Are we beating the market? And if you're not beating the market, and by a certain substantial amount, because you're also spending your time and your effort into investing in individual stocks or managing your portfolio. So be aware of, just keep track of these type of things. So where do I see the stock market going in the future, and what are the trends that I'm seeing? So besides Bitcoin, which I think is a hot topic, and the cryptocurrency space for 2021, other than that, there are just these trends that we're seeing. We have to kind of decipher the trends that we saw in 2020. What are the trends that we saw accelerating? Because we saw a lot of trends accelerating, but some of those trends are going to revert back to the mean, and other of those trends, they're just the tip of the iceberg. They're this snowball that's going to just go out of control, and that's the area, and those are the spaces that we want to grab. And so what are the spaces that we think is going to revert to the mean? And let's maybe sidestep some of those spaces and kind of reallocate our funds a little bit. This is kind of what I'm thinking about. And then put them into these spaces that this is just the tip of the iceberg. And it's not really fully understood that these are trends that are not, because right now we're in a space that it's not so clear of what trends are going to be continuing and to snowball in the future, and what are the trends that are going to be kind of subsiding. DoorDash is a trend that is definitely going to revert back to the mean to a certain degree. It's obviously going to have growth in the future, but we have to be aware of what trends are going to have this reversion and what trends are going to have this exponential growth. And so with DoorDash, we're going to have this reversion and then kind of a more linear growth. This is what I'm thinking. And maybe we'll have some exponential growth at some point, but there's no point in jumping into DoorDash when you're going to have this reversion back to the mean, and the exponential potential growth is not necessarily there, and it's not necessarily something that I see at the moment for that kind of company. But if we look at something like video games and gaming, we can see that this is a space when you have more users jump onto gaming and gaming platforms. You have this area where it's a really sticky area. Habits are hard to break. Once you get people starting new habits, especially gaming, it's a hard habit to break. And let's say you break it one year, you're back the next year. So gaming is a space. And I also think that it is a social space that it's captured the young minds, captured so many of these generations and these people. And if you're going into gaming, people go into gaming for various reasons, whether it's just to play Zelda, whether it's just to play some kind of platform game, but also the main thing, in my opinion, it's the social element that gaming gives you. And during this time of lockdown, during this time of this 2020 that we had, you have this social element of only gaming could give you. Zoom meetings can't give you a certain element of interaction. Gaming has given us and given everyone this more of an interaction of kind of like being in the same space of somebody and playing and interacting with those people. And this is something that's just true and sticky and something that's going to be around beyond the pandemic, and it's always been there. It's always been this exciting thing to do. Gaming has always been an amazing thing to do besides just 2020. And this is something that people are realizing and people are going to be developing in the future more for the regular folks. You don't have to be a gamer to necessarily play video games because you want that social interaction. People crave that social interaction. People will try these new things. People have tried this idea of Zoom. Zoom is an area, obviously, you're going to have some reversion to the back to the mean, but it's an area that's going to be just exponential growth into the future. These are some areas, and gaming is a similar thing. I don't even see any really reversion within gaming necessarily. Maybe the time spent on gaming will go down, but the users of gaming will just go up. And this is something that's going to be exponentially going into the future as more and more people adopt it and realize this is the social thing that you're going to do. This is the social area for you to be in, to kind of have that interaction of that face-to-face, that real interaction that we had once before, that we're kind of losing right now. And gaming has always been there, and gamers just know. It's always been the place to socialize and have that experience. And it's always been there. And this is something that I think that we're going to see a huge push in 2021 and beyond. And so that is an area. And it's kind of hard to know which games and which kind of companies to go into in terms of investing. So we have to be looking in this year. I'm going to be looking into various companies and various stocks to find out which gaming stocks that I want to start investing in. And I already, in my last video, talked about one gaming stock that I recently invested in, which is more of a peripheral play that doesn't matter who the winners are. This could be a potential winner. It doesn't matter what platform or games is going to be the winners. This is a potential winner in all scenarios. So these are the type of companies that I'm going to be looking into. Other gaming stocks too. Like, of course, I'm going to be looking into companies like Nintendo, Sony, Activision Blizzard. I'm really looking into these other kind of companies that are more traditional gaming. And I'll probably be investing in some of these companies in the near future. I'll be doing my research about this, and I'm pretty excited in this space for 2021. And I'm going to be also looking into other kind of spaces, not only gaming, finding where these trends that I'm seeing that is just this tip of the iceberg. It's going to snowball out of control, and not necessarily this reversion back to the mean followed by some linear growth. I'm talking about some snowball effect, that this is something that fundamentally is going to be changing, and it was already had that growth. We already had this linear, if not exponential growth already, but that this 2020 and this idea that 2021 is going to be similar in an extension potentially probably of 2020 to some degree into several months, if not the whole year, that this is going to be a continuation, and we're going to see a exponential growth of a lot of these areas. And there's a lot of opportunity that I'm seeing in the stock market. And I hope and I'm excited to join you in this journey to find out these stocks and to find out where we can grow. And I'm looking forward to grow with you guys. One of my goals for the year was to get 500 subscribers for 2020. And we together got 3,000 subscribers over that. And I'm pretty excited to learn from each of one of you. And I hope you guys can learn something from this kooky guy here, and that we can grow together and learn about new stocks and talk about stocks together. And I hope to continue this journey with all of you. And let's raise a glass up. This is my coffee mug. And I hope you guys have an amazing 2021. Cheers. And my goal, like I said, is always just to beat the market. I don't want to put my goal like to double my account, because I don't want to add unnecessary risk. I don't want to try to get to a certain point, put unnecessary risk, lose money, not make smart plays. So this is kind of the reason why my goals is kind of conservative. And if you beat the market this year and you got over a 15.7%, be proud of yourself. Be proud that you made that compared to other people who are just being in the market. This is an incredible accomplishment. I mean, I got like 245% this year, and that's one account, and I got even higher than that in another one of my accounts. But this is not something that we're trying to compare with each other. We're trying to just do our own journey. And my goal, again, was only to beat the market. I wasn't trying to go for 245% over that. So this is just something that I'm not trying to repeat that in any way. If it just happens, it happens, and that's amazing. But I'm just trying to do smart things. Play it smart. Beat the market. Do something that's consistent. Do something that doesn't take all of my time. Just do something that I can do and be sustainable for the long term. And keep in mind that none of this is financial advice. This is just some random guy on YouTube drawing some stick figure lines on a chart talking to you guys.